Alright kids, the time has come for my annual top 10 worst movies of the previous year countdown. Let's get started. Number 10, Into the Grizzly Maze. Killer bear movies shouldn't be this boring. The talentless James Marsden leads a cast that includes Thomas Jane and Billy Bob Thornton on the trail of a bear who is always barely, in the frame, green screened, or spliced in with the actors. You don't really buy that any of these movie stars are fighting a bear in the scenes that they share. It's very poorly edited. Number 9, Accidental Love. This movie is a pitiful attempt at satirizing the American healthcare and political systems. Ask yourself, what kind of specific targets do you think that this type of movie would take on? Obamacare, the Obama administration, the Republican-controlled Congress, the 2016 elections? Actually, none of these things. This movie was made in 2008. That's right, back when George Bush was still president, Tobey Maguire was still Spider-Man, and The Fast and the Furious was a trilogy. So I wouldn't call this movie timely, nor would I call it good. Even if it was released back in 2008, it still wouldn't be any good due to its tired jokes, annoying characters, and lack of any real insight. Oh, and James Marsden, he's in this one as well. Number 8, The Forger. I reviewed this one so you can check it out here if you want. In short, John Travolta at his weirdest looking pulls off the world's most boring heist with his dying son. If you like melodrama mixed with flat scenes of painting thievery, go for it, I guess. Number 7, Maze Runner The Scorch Trials. Was making a terrible movie part of your plan?
Of course.
Number 6, Absolution. Usual suspects Steven Seagal and Vinnie Jones have arrived to the worst list right on schedule. While this is one of the more technically competent films in Steven Seagal's filmography, Absolution makes up for it with one of the worst plots. So Vinnie Jones has this torture dungeon nightclub hybrid where he's a jerk to European women. One of them escapes and runs down the street to Seagal and asks for help, so he starts this big vigilante investigation that spans the rest of the movie to find said nightclub. Or I don't know, Seagal, maybe just ask her where it is. She literally just ran away from it. Movie over. Number 5, Fantastic Four. This is the worst superhero movie since... no, that one's not as bad. Nor is that one. Still no. I'm actually having trouble thinking of worse movies. It's hard to tell who's to blame with this one, considering that the director and the studio were at odds with one another. Whoever's fault it is, this is an unfocused, pointless mess that is severely lacking originality and a sense of fun. Number 4, Unfinished Business. I don't think there's ever been a film with a more fitting title. They seem to have written a script but forgot to put any jokes in it. This is a completely laugh-free film. I don't see how a comedy film could fail any worse. Vince Vaughn is not funny as usual. James Franco's brother gives the single worst performance of the year as a mentally retarded man. Oh, and James Marsden is in this one as well. He now has an equal number of Nuke the Shark worst film of the year entries as Steven Seagal. You hear that, Marsden? You're as much of a hack as Steven Seagal. Number 3, Vice. 2015 was a year for movies about artificial intelligence. In terms of quality, they were pretty all over the place, with good films like Ex Machina, middle-of-the-road films like Chappie, and terrible films like Vice. I hate putting a Thomas Jane film on here again because I do like him and I don't think he deserves to be stuck in such terrible films. Bruce Willis, on the other hand, yeah, this is where he belongs. No one, not even Steven Seagal, put out less effort than Bruce Willis did this year. He whispers his dialogue and barely even moves in his scenes. At times he looks like he's falling asleep. His performances keep getting worse and worse as his career goes on. I'm not sure how he can get any lazier. I suppose he'd have to do an entire performance from a bed or something. Oh. Number 2, Aloha. This is your typical feel-good Cameron Crowe romantic drama about a washed-up guy, fresh off a lot of bad decisions, who finds redemption through stopping Bill Murray from nuking Hawaii by shooting loud noises into space with the help of his Asian friend Emma Stone. If you're into the what were they thinking type of cinematic disasters, you ought to take a look at this one. It's kind of epic in its badness. If you're into good movies, then stay away. Number 1, Taken 3. People ask me, what is it about this movie that I hate so much? Well, the answer is simple.
It was the bagels. They were warm. I mean, I had to ask myself, what kind of guy goes out for warm bagels and comes back and commits murder?
Alright, there's my worst of 2015 list. I hope you enjoyed it. Check back later for my best of 2015 list after I've gotten the opportunity to see The Hateful Eight and The Revenant.